Hello and welcome to Unity of Las Vegas. My name is Jim Lee and I'm so glad that you're joining us today. If this is your first time, I just want you to know we love you. Thanks for being here. We are a spiritual center and we are anchored in two primary things. One is this wonderful, potent essence called love, and also we're steeped in the truth and pointing directly to the truth. In other words, you're really welcomed here. Well, we are in session 2 of a series that is looking at what it is to be a spiritual pioneer. Don't worry, you are one, the fact that you're tuning in. And last week, we focused in on the message, and this week we're focusing in on the messenger that receives this message, and it is entitled Birthing a New Paradigm. So as we get ready for this, I just want you to know that something is moving and stirring, not only in the universe, not only on this planet, but within each and every one of us. It's time for a new paradigm. The order of service today, we've got a special reading by Don Fouts, music by John Jones, and he wrote and he's singing this song. It's called Author of the Impossible. And I will be doing the lesson, and Lisa will bring it home. It's one thing to think it, it's another thing to experience it, and that's what Lisa will be doing today. So open up your minds. Most importantly, open up your hearts for today's message. Thank you.
And hello. My name is Donald Fouts, and I am honored to give you today's special reading. The thought for today, the truth is, indeed, that love is the threshold of another universe. That's Teilhard de Chardin. In the affirmation, with every thought, word, and action, the love that I am sets the world ablaze. Teilhard de Chardin was a Jesuit priest and a paleontologist who brought the worlds of science and religion together, becoming a forerunner in our present-day understanding of spiritual revolution. In Teilhard's view, humanity is spiritually pioneering an expanded consciousness that will lay the foundation for a future grounded in the sovereignty of love. What seems impossible for our limited perception becomes possible only through love. As love, we are this threshold of another universe, and in this awareness, become authors of the impossible. Today, we allow this understanding to wash over us and through us, and as we go about our daily tasks, imbuing even our smallest acts with this great love. Truth has only to appear once in one single mind for it to be impossible for anything to prevent it from spreading universally and setting everything ablaze. The day will come when, after harnessing the ether, the winds, the tides, gravitation, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And on that day, for the second time in the history of the world, man will have discovered fire. Teilhard de Chardin. And together, the affirmation, with every thought, word, and action, the love that I am sets the world ablaze. And so it is.
Thank you, Don. Those are undoubtedly some of the most powerful words we've heard thus far on our journey of evolution. Well said, my friend. Well, good morning, all. Great to see you here, and we want you to know that we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the Christ within you this morning. We've got wonderful news to share with you today. We've set a date to return to the sanctuary and meet in person. Set your calendars for Sunday, June 13th. By next week, we'll have all the details for you. Look for an email in your inbox, and you'll be able to get more information from our website as well as our Facebook page as it becomes available. We'll be very excited to see you on Sunday, June 13th. In the meantime, you're all invited to join us today in our after-service congregational Zoom call at the top of the hour, immediately following this service. The instructions are in the description box below. It's easy to register. Just stop in for a moment or two and catch up with your Unity of Las Vegas friends and family. Now, in keeping with Reverend Jim's message and Lisa's meditation today, I've chosen a song which I wrote last year. The unseen realm from which the world will flow springs forth from your heart as well. I hope you dig this one. It's entitled, Author of the Impossible.
You are an author of the impossible, the living, breathing creation itself, the unseen realm from which the world will flow with the grace of spirit as well. You are an author of the impossible, mystical nature of all life itself, the breath of God from within your soul springs forth from your heart as well. There are forces at play that would have you believe that the world is on fire and out of control. Deceivers will tell you that you'll never achieve the truth of your heart and the work of your soul. But be not persuaded from that which you know to be true in your heart and define it. For you hold the answer to the question you ask and the ways and the means to assign it.
You are an author of the impossible, the living, breathing creation itself.
You are an author of the impossible, the living, breathing creation itself, the unseen realm from which the world will flow with the grace of spirit as well. You are an author of the impossible, mystical nature of all life itself, the breath of God from within your soul springs forth from your heart as well. It's time to let go of the things in your life that no longer continue to serve, like the anger of loss or the fear of the cost that you won't stay ahead of the curve. The reality is that you're never alone, though many will tell you you're wrong. You're never separate from the source. You're the notes, the singer, the song.
You are an author of the impossible, mystical nature of all life itself.
You are an author of the impossible, the living, breathing creation itself, the unseen realm from which the world will flow with the grace of spirit as well. You are an author of the impossible, mystical nature of all life itself, the breath of God from within your soul springs forth from your heart as well.
Thank you, John. Great song. Author of The Impossible. Well, we're stepping into that. And Lord knows we need to. It appears that we're having crisis after crisis on top of crisis. And when it looks like we halfway solve one crisis, then we have another. Have you noticed? And even in the midst of a global pandemic, we can't seem to work together. It seems almost impossible to move forward or out of this so-called sixth mass extinction that this earth is headed towards. And it looks like this whole idea of the kingdom of heaven on earth, it just seems like an impossibility. And sometimes as I look at it, I feel like that old Santana song in which he says, "You've got to change your evil ways, baby." And it looks like we need to do that. But in order to change these evil ways or to move forward, I'm saying it's really not that. That what we really need to do is something that you've heard of before, but we really need to do this. We got to think outside of the box. Think outside of the box. And the box that I'm talking about is this current paradigm, or what I would call this box is being able to think differently in an unconventional way, to look at things from a new point of view. We cannot solve these massive problems with the same thinking that's got us into these wonderful, delightful problems. So, what is it up to? Well, this box and this thinking that I'm talking about, don't worry, we didn't create it. We didn't do this. It was already here when we arrived. This way of thinking and these opinions, these concepts, and these belief systems that we lived in is ingrained in us, in our psyche, and in our very language that we're swimming in. So it looks like we are in a closed-in box because of the way we are thinking. And with this, it's unlikely that we're going to let go of these belief systems and create something new without some type of catalyst. Well, the catalyst is here. We're in a world of crisis, both personally, professionally, and globally. We are looking at getting out of this box because a lot of us are sick and tired of all of this chaos and confusion that's going on, that seems to be anchored in the way that we're being or our current belief systems, what I call our current BS. It's time. It's time. Birth the new paradigm, and we are the ones to do it. Now, this current paradigm or belief system that we're living in, we don't even recognize it because we're swimming in like a fish in water. And this current paradigm that we're living in is steeped in duality and all thoughts of separation. Jeff Carrera, in his book, The Soul of a New Self, says this: "We have been trained to see ourselves as separate entities. housed in separate bodies, living in a single lifetime in a world that is independent from us. We, each and every one of us, have been taught that consciousness is inside of us and that our brain gathers information from the world outside and form pictures of reality that allows us to know things. And that's it, things. We believe that we are separate entities, individual beings responding to with different names and living these independent lives. We assume we are limited by our birthday on one side and death on the other. And in between these 2 points, we live our life, and that's who we think we are. This is a construct. This is a belief system. And because of that, we experience our own thoughts about this. Unity has a basic principle, and it is this: thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And so we live, move, and have our being that we're separate. And since we think it, that's how the life is. However, we've got to break out of this. Something is ready to emerge because this is no longer working for us. Friedrich Nietzsche says, humans have the capacity to recreate themselves. We can consciously choose to be a new kind of human. That's what we're talking about today, is birthing a new paradigm. But in order to do that, it's got to be a new belief system that's within us. And what we're open to do is embrace a new level of creativity that comes from a higher point of view than this point of view of separateness and duality. In this new paradigm that we are stepping into, we see that separation is only a perception and not the truth. It is not all that there is. We have an opportunity to have a non-attachment to these interpretations so that we can have the opportunity to turn with love and to turn to the divine and turn to the one presence that lifts us out of this conflict, chaos, chaotic thinking into a holistic one, a one of oneness. And in this vibration of wholeness, it can reveal the possibilities of things that we formerly thought was impossible. What I call this is bringing the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of wholeness, the kingdom of beauty, love, and joy into this three-dimensional plane, but it's not going to happen with this dualistic, contrary thinking that is distorting reality. We are in a dance with life, but we're not hearing the right tune. We're out of step. Universe is going one way, and we're not being the partner with it. So this new way of thinking, this new paradigm now gives us the opportunity to open up to something special. I'm saying that we can do this right here and right now is the time. This is a major thought. We are not things that exist in reality. In fact, we are a manifestation of the flow of reality. This is the new paradigm that we're stepping into. We are not things that exist in reality. We are a manifestation of the flow of reality. Now, this is a different point of view. And what we're talking about is freeing our minds of the old way so that we can get into a new way. There's an expression, we want to free our minds and our behinds will follow. That's what we're up to. We are being called to author in a new story of wholeness, of beauty and wonder instead of all this division and chaos. Jeff Carrera says, it's time for a new story. A super story of an awakened relationship that is born out of an intersubjective illumination that has the power to sweep groups of individuals into a new world. That's the super story that we're talking about being aligned with. And all we've got to do is just let go of all of that BS way of being that has an attachment to separation. Now, as we step into this new way, and I'm going to call it is the truth that can set us free. What we need to do is bring on two components, and I like these. As we step into this way of being, I don't want a lot of effort and struggle and pain and heartache. I want to do it with ease and grace. Ease and grace. Affirmation time. Let's say this together. I live and move with ease and grace. Ease. What am I talking about? Well, in this new paradigm, new way of thinking and being, it is not so much about doing something. It's more about being something. Being in the flow of love. Being surrendered to the infinite guidance of the Almighty. And as we do this with ease, it doesn't mean that we won't have stumbling blocks. It doesn't mean that we won't have rocks in our path. What it means is we'll be like a river and we can flow around the rocks. We're going with the flow. Now, grace is amazing grace. First of all, it is something that you don't earn it. You don't have to work for it. It's something special. In Ephesians, 2nd chapter, verses 8 through 9, it says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yours, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest anyone should boast." What I'm saying here is this grace is not a reward for the righteous. It is really a gift for the guilty. So as we shift to what seems like a whole new way of thinking, I'm inviting us to step into it with ease and grace, open up our minds and open up our hearts and allow the amazing grace to guide us to be who we were designed to be in the perfect place at the perfect time, because that's who we are, so that we can bring about this new paradigm. That's the reason why we're here. That's what it's all about. And now the last thing that I want to bring in, I want us to be like Moses. What do I mean? Well, when Moses was set free and all the Hebrew people were set free, they were on their way, what they would call freedom, but they ran into a little obstacle. Some people call it a rock and a hard place, meaning this. He had in front of him the Red Sea, and behind him was a mad Pharaoh with a mad Pharaoh's army, which is a whole lot of them. They were charging at the Hebrews, and He was saying, oh Lord, what am I going to do? And the Lord spoke to Moses 2 words that a lot of times they're overlooked, and I certainly were powerful. Moses said, go forward, then raise the staff. Now, I am looking at this as this. I'm not sure if that sea would have parted if he didn't go forward. Somebody had to stick the big toe in the water, and I believe when they did, the sea parted. It was a both and. It was this collaborative effort that is coming, that came forward. So what I'm inviting us to do is let's go forward today. Let's take a step and release and let go of belief system of separation and lack and limitations. Let go of who we think we are, this individualized unit inside this body. We're much more than that. I want us to be like they say in Alice in Wonderland, where Alice says, I want to think 6 impossible things before breakfast. That's who we were. I want us to take a step. Take a step now with open up our hearts and follow the path of love. Take a step and surrender to this evolutionary impulse that is so divine that it can guide us like a spiritual pioneer to the kingdom of heaven and allow us to bring it right here on earth, right now. It's time for a new paradigm. Matter of fact, that rhymes. Time for a new paradigm. Are you ready? Well, I certainly am. But in order for us to do this, it's going to be a collaborative effort. So join us here at Unity of Las Vegas as we're going to systematically create a way in which we can usher in a new paradigm. And now in this first step here, Lisa is going to guide us into a meditation in which we can experience it together.
I love this quote that Jim mentioned from the movie Alice in Wonderland, where Alice says, "Why, sometimes I believe as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast." I love it because it reminds me that there is so much more available to me beyond the limits of my perception. But also because it reminds me that believing in and holding in my heart these more expanded realms of love, where things only seem to be impossible, is why I have really come here. In fact, I believe each in our own way, we have all come here to be authors of this impossible. A beautiful term that's coined by Jeffrey Kripal. Throughout this series on being a spiritual pioneer, we will be exploring together the 5 M's, the process by which a specific expression of love moves from the realm of spirit into the material realm. Last week, we explored the first M, the message, sensing into its essence in this realm of spirit. And today, we're looking at the next M, which is the messenger. How do we have to be as humans to perceive this message and to bring it into full expression in the world? Now, as we look around at the world, we can easily sense the old systems crumbling, that the old paradigm is falling away so that a new paradigm can come forth. But how can we really participate in this? We can easily think that the new paradigm is a distant realm, far out of reach and inaccessible to us. But what we will be living inside of today is the opportunity to see this separation as merely a thin membrane of perception, where the slightest turning towards spirit reveals possibilities within the impossible. For our meditation today, we will step inside of the ancient and visionary wisdom available to us in this living present moment. Inside of the rich resource of the imaginal realm, our boundaries around our sense of self and our attachments to the way we've always done things become permeable. And we are empowered to give birth to a whole new universe, a dimension where the joy and the magic of believing truly in 6 impossible things before breakfast is a daily event. So now we turn to meditation. I just invite you to find a very comfortable way of sitting and bring attention to the breath. And just allow yourself to just focus on this breath going through all parts of your being, your physical body, your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and your essential self. And now imagine that there is a golden ball of light right above your head. And even before it touches your head, just imagine its warmth. Sense into its beautiful glow. And imagine it just coming in through your crown chakra. This wonderful warmth and glow is now permeating your physical body, your thoughts and feelings, and your essential self. Become aware of all the varying textures of yourself, from the most material to the most ethereal. All parts of yourself interrelating and all embraced in this golden light. Any boundaries between these varying parts of yourself become soft, and you become more and more aware of your own wholeness. Within this wholeness, who you are begins to expand. You have a body, but you are not your body. You have thoughts and feelings, but you are not your thoughts and feelings. You experience earthly circumstances and situations, but you are not your situations and circumstances. Notice this capacity that you have, where you can have a body and where you can have thoughts, while your sense of self identifies with more and more expanded aspects of you. Who is this you who is seeing your body? Who is this you who is seeing your thoughts and feelings? Notice your capacity to experience circumstances and situations, while your sense of self identifies with more and more expanded aspects of you. Who is this you who is observing these circumstances and situations? Sense into this expansion of I am. I am. I am. This I am that you are has nothing to defend, nothing to protect. There is no way of thinking or being that needs to be held onto. Notice the permeability of this I am that you are. Everything is soft and open here. Sense the uniqueness of your I am in connection with everything else. You are you, yet in profound relationship with everything around you. This living wisdom that is both ancient and visionary is flowing through your being, through you, and as you. Sense into the peace with how things are within this larger context of wisdom and connection. And sense a new way of being, grounded in the sovereignty of love, ever available and pressing in, imminent and present in this living now. Every part of your being is open and is receiving this message. This new expression of love, whose time has come to be in full expression on the planet. You are a divine messenger, empowered in every way to bring your unique gifts to this expression. Teilhard de Chardin says, "The day will come when, after harnessing the ether, the winds, the tides, gravitation, we shall harness for God the energies of love. And on that day, for the second time in the history of the world, man will have discovered fire." And we are knowing together in this moment that with every thought, word, and action, the love that you are sets the world ablaze. For this is the way it really is.
Thank you, Lisa, for a great meditation. And I love that. The love that I am sets the world ablaze. The love that you are sets the world ablaze. And the love that we are setting the world ablaze. It's time to release and let go of everything that is holding us back so that we can move forward and bring in a new paradigm. It's time. So I want you to join us at 11 o'clock on Sundays. It is a special fellowship time, and you can go to the website and get the Zoom link so that you can join us in fellowship time and discuss things, but also to be in relationship with each other. If you are standing in the need of prayer, you may call Silent Unity. Someone is there 24 hours, 7 days a week, just for you. Thank each and every one of you for your wonderful prayers and all of your support, and especially the financial support that allows us to be here and to expand and to grow. And if you haven't donated before, you can go to our website, click on the donate button, or you can do it via phone with a text. Thank you for all that you do. We're going to close out now with this prayer for protection for ourselves, for us in this planet that we're on, that we're ready to step in alignment with the divine plan. So the prayer for protection is now coming up on the screen. Let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you.
You are an author of the impossible, the living, breathing creation itself, the unseen realm from which the world will flow with the grace of spirit as well.